on Facebook.com. And if you still got an itch to scratch when you're done with that, you want to visit Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for their version of the raffle for all kinds of cool prizes, even a chance at winning some cash. You buy a $10 raffle ticket for a chance at winning $100. That's a chance at making 10 times your money. It don't get any better than that. That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com for a chance at all kinds of cool prizes. Tell them what you've won, Dave.
I've won everything from tailgating barbecue sets. That I have a Packers one that I won, folks, for $400. I put $40 down on the spot. I won it, and it was out of 20 spots. It's really worth it. I've also won helmets that are signed. I've won banners that are signed. I've won memorabilia rings. I've won footballs that are signed and other Packers knickknacks because that's my team. But go ahead and check them out. Cheap, affordable prices for certified, authentic stuff.
That's Raz Addictions on Facebook.com. Go there, play, and win. And as always, you can follow us on Twitter at First and Goal Pod, myself at UPJ33, Dave is at Steak and Cheese, and the fantasy wonder himself, Dillon, at Dillon Busby1. Email us at firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com with all your football and Packer questions and comments, and you just might find yourself making the show live. That's firstandgoalpodcast@yahoo.com. All right, we are back. All right, so Dillon, it's yours. Take it away, bud.
I'm sorry, Dave talked too much. My bad.
No, I love that idea, Dave. Why don't you mention it real quick for the listeners, what you want to do?
So starting every Tuesday on our fantasy files, plus whenever after that's done. So I usually do mock drafts starting beginning of every year for football. But the thing is I continue them through the season as the team adjusts the record, obviously with wins and losses and strengths that players show up and go away, get injured. And I'm going to, starting after week 12, since a lot of teams' seasons are already over, even though if they're not mathematically eliminated, yes, have hope, people, I got it, blah, blah, blah. But the teams, they're 3 wins and less, you're in the top 10 in the draft, you're going to get a mock draft every Tuesday, and the number will increase every time we get closer to the end of the season.
I love it. Can't wait to see it. Can't wait to hear it. And I can't wait to pitch in because we all love draft season.
All I'm going to say is Joe Burrow, number 1. That's it.
Joe
That's
Burrow.
all Heisman,
All
future
right.
Heisman winner.
Correct. Speaking of which, did you guys see that Carson Palmer gave Dan Patrick his Heisman to just keep on the set for a while?
Yeah.
Maybe even try. Carson Palmer, man, underrated, good guy.
Just if his good guidance carried to the field.
See, this is where we're going to get off track. This is where we're going to go over our time. You're going to tell me Carson Palmer wasn't a good quarterback?
Okay.
He was decent.
Nope. He was okay. He was okay. His mechanics were sloppy. He was erratic. He saw ghosts, so to speak. He made terrible decisions in
NFC championship game. It was horrible.
No, Carson Palmer was Kirk Cousins before Kirk Cousins was around.
Oh boy.
Stats
we don't have enough. We clearly don't have enough time.
Stats.
All right,
let's
climb down that rabbit hole.
All right, but let's
Dillon,
move
what's
on.
our first
Come
big
on, Dillon.
matchup?
Just quit shaking your head at us.
Sorry, ass. How dare you?
The 2-8 Miami Dolphins traveling to Cleveland to take on these Browns. 4-6. Who knows if they're still in the playoff hunt or not? It's going to be a tough run to make. You're going to have to leapfrog the Steelers. Going to have to leapfrog the Ravens, and that's not going to happen at this point. For the Dolphins, you've got Ken Webster, doubtful with an ankle injury. Otherwise, Taco Charlton is only questionable with an elbow. On the Browns side of the field, as Dave talked about earlier, Olivier Vernon is not going to play today with that knee injury. Also, David Njoku activated from IR, but still not expected to play today with that wrist injury. And also, Joe Schobert is questionable with a groin. As far as these guys matching up on defense, the Browns are pretty much middle of the pack when it comes to everything on the defensive side of the ball. As I mentioned earlier, I'm looking forward to see Devontae Parker versus Greedy Williams and perhaps versus Denzel Ward as well, depending on whether or not they choose to shadow him. but Devontae Parker's been on an absolute tear, a real hot streak these last few. I mean, really, the last 6 weeks. I mean, he's either scored a touchdown or had above 50 yards. Went for 135 this last week. So I'm very much looking forward to Devontae Parker and seeing him on this team that was supposedly throwing in the towel and tanking for Tua and just leaving Brian Flores to die. We've seen the guys like Ryan Fitzpatrick and Devontae Parker really want to step up and make this team relevant, not just jump ship like some other guys I know that are in Pittsburgh right now just tearing it up.
Oh!
Yeah, that's right. I'm talking about you,
Minka. You go cry in a corner.
But really, I think this is going to be a sloppy game defensively and offensively. The Browns have not been much to see either. Baker Mayfield has been a very disappointing quarterback. Many fantasy owners out there drafted him, in the middle rounds to be something with weapons like OBJ, Jarvis Landry, David Njoku. Who knew who was going to come on between Callaway and Higgins? I like them both. Personally, I like Higgins a little bit better. I think he's underutilized. Rashard Higgins is going to be one of those guys that has a better second half of his career than first half. But I was thinking earlier as I have to stream a quarterback in a couple of my leagues, and it was between Jeff Driscoll and Baker Mayfield. Obviously, initially you see the Dolphins on the slate, and you think, oh, man, I got to go Baker. He's still got untapped potential. He's still got the weapons, and the Dolphins are horrible. But then I took a deeper dive, and I realized that the weather for this game is not opportunistic as far as the passing game goes. It's going to be cold, sitting at about 38, 39 degrees, and very windy. The projection right now is about 17 miles per hour. So if you talk to players, if you listen to them about what really affects the passing game, it's not the rain so much as the wind. I mean, that's what gets the ball whirling around and makes the spiral unpredictable and things like that. I mean, obviously a wet ball is tough to catch, but the gloves these days are basically space age.
Well, if there's a player that's played this type of environment, it's Fitzpatrick. He played in Buffalo, so he knows how to play in this, and he's succeeded in Buffalo at that. He played in New York in this weather with the Jets. So I mean, he has experience in it. Baker is a Southern boy. He plays down in that Big 12 down there in Oklahoma. So he doesn't really get the colder, sloppy weather that Fitzpatrick has been in. And I give. You know what? It's going to be Hunt and Chubb over Balaj in this. It's basically in Balaj. We're going to see this get to me. We're going to see more of what is it? We're going to see more of Balaj on what he can actually do today because of those sloppy conditions. They're going to use him, and I feel like they haven't used him enough.
Well, I mean, they did give him, I think, about 20 carries this last time about.
I want to see a 30-carry game and just use those wheels.
Yeah, I think you're totally right. This could definitely be a pound the rock, see who makes the least mistakes type of game with that wind whipping around.
Yeah.
When you talk about who's going to win the game, I still want to think overall talent gets it done, and especially a home field advantage in the dog pound. But yeah, fantasy-wise, you still got to ride the hot hand that is Devontae Parker. If you've been playing him, obviously he's one of your better options.
Secondary is atrocious.
Yeah, so, I mean, I think Denzel Ward and Greedy Williams are both very talented, good cornerbacks. I just don't know how healthy they are exactly.
They don't have a pass rush, man. They don't have someone to get to the QB to pressure Fitzpatrick, so he's going to get the passes off.
Also,
I didn't mean to interrupt you. You need a pass rush to help a secondary.
It's a super good point. You're already missing Myles Garrett, so missing Olivier Vernon certainly does not help.
Agba, the backup pass rusher to Vernon, is also suspended for one game, and this is the game. So you have 3 pass rushers out for Cleveland that can make a difference.
And I mean, Joe Schobert's not a bad blitzer himself, so if he's hampered by that injury, that makes it more likely. Give me some Fitz magic today. Is that what you're saying? Are we talking upset here?
Yeah, I think, you know what? We'll wait till we get to the picks. I don't know where Jay went. I think we scared him. I think we were like, oh, God, the Dolphins might win, and he ran away. But, you know what? If you want to start, go ahead. Who are you going to take in this? What's the spread? I just saw the spread, and it about scared me.
Real quick, I do want to get into some more guys to talk about. I think Jarvis Landry is actually a pretty strong play today versus his old team in Miami.
Yeah, a little motivation.
If the wind is affecting the passing game at all, we know that Jarvis is more of an underneath, intermediate route type of guy, so he can get you those safe catches and maybe some yardage to go along with it. I mean, he has underrated yards after catch, so if he has a lane, he can burst through a hole, or even run over a guy and take it to the house. So Landry's a strong play.
How do you feel about Ricky Seals-Jones, the tight end that the Browns picked up?
I don't love it. I mean, Miami's not very stellar against anything, including tight ends, but I think that Demetrius Harris is a guy who's a little bit more effective, and he sees more looks than Seals-Jones. I like Seals-Jones as a talent, don't get me wrong. I think if he had his own role, which he kind of did in Arizona, and it never really, it was spotty, but I think Demetrius Harris eats it enough into his workload to where neither guy is a safe play. You're kind of just banking on a touchdown either way. Now, here's what I got to know for you. Two questions, really. How do you feel about Mike Gesicki? Is he a top 15 tight end this week?
No.
Not even top 15. Okay.
That dude is underperformed all season. I've tried having him on other fantasy leagues. He doesn't perform. I'm sorry. The guy is a tall SOB. He drops passes. He has a huge stride. He's fast as hell. But that's all we saw at the combine. Yeah. We didn't see it anywhere else. You don't see it except practice videos. You don't see it in game time. I've watched him drop so many passes, it's ridiculous. Apparently his habit from Penn State carried over because he had a huge problem with that in college, was his drops. And you know what? Shame on Gesicki. Don't ever trust a Gesicki, guys.
It has been icky for Gesicki because those hands ain't been sticky. I'll tell you that.
He can't do no icky shuffle.
No, and it sucks because, like you said, a real athletic freak. He was a workout warrior at the combine and had plenty of big games at Penn State, like you said too. But whether it's in the head or whatever, he's got to get it straightened up because there's a lot of potential.
Granted, he is playing with Rosen and Fitzpatrick. I mean, maybe give him a pass this year and see if Miami upgrades their quick QB next year, which I'm assuming they do. You got it, because QB, there's a ton of them coming out next year. And I'm just saying, with Justin Herbert's performance last night, dropping to old Arizona State, you might see him drop in the draft, and Miami might be able to grab someone like him. You never know.
Yeah. I'll be curious to see also what his total targets were at the end of the year, because as we know, especially through Bruce Arians, some offenses just utilize receivers way more than tight ends,
Bruce Arians, that's Tampa.
No, I'm just saying, we've seen in the NFL.
Okay.
I thought you favor one position more than the other.
Coach Miami now? What just happened?
Like Christian McCaffrey is clearly going to finish with more catches than DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel. Like that's just the way their offense is schemed.
Yeah, true. Yeah. I don't think Gesicki's living up to the hype. He's been way too talented to not produce, and he's just really underperforming. But our old producer's back.
Okay, so I'll get to my final question for this matchup, and Jay, you can jump in here. Would you feel more confident playing Jarvis Landry or OBJ in a half-point PPR today versus Miami? Who finishes with a bigger day?
You know what? I think this will be it's risk versus reward type of thing. Landry has definitely been the more steady play through this entire season, but OBJ has to go off at some point. And by God, you do not want to be that guy that loses your matchup and has OBJ on your bench versus Miami and he puts up 30-plus points. Like, you almost have to play him and take the risk because it's like regression to the mean. At some point, and let's put it like this. If he doesn't do it this week, like, you can just bench him, cut him, whatever. Like, because if he's not going to do it against Miami, it ain't happening. Like, let's put it like that.
Which sucks because, the Browns, as we've talked about, have a fairly favorable remaining schedule. And if you can't, like you said, if you can't take advantage of this, you can't feel confident in these coming weeks with the playoffs on the line.
And it's not like OBJ hasn't gotten the targets either. You go back and look, how many balls did he drop against Buffalo?
22 over the last 2 weeks alone.